Hey guys, welcome to the video. So today we are talking about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. I'm honestly so excited to work on this video because we are talking about my local venues, the Brooklyn Mirage and Avant Gardner. Now, this is something I've wanted to discuss because although they're local venues to me, they are destination spots for fans of dance music. They are really, really big premier venues for all different genres of EDM. And of course, we're in the middle of a busy season now that events are back, and there isn't that much information online about it. So if you plan on attending a show here in the future or you want to travel here for shows, I highly recommend it. But this video is going to give you an overview of all of the venues in this space. I'm going to talk about what you can expect there. I'm going to show a ton of videos so you can see what the production looks like and the full layout. And then I'm going to give you some insider tips because I've attended a ton of shows here and I'm going to let you know what it's actually like. So with all that being said, if you guys are new here, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button down below to come join the family. You can also connect with me online at Kapotes on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. With all that out of the way, let's jump into the video. So as I mentioned, the Brooklyn Mirage and Avant Gardner are huge destination venues for dance music. They are obviously located in Brooklyn, New York, more specifically in East Williamsburg. So the area that they're in is a little interesting. You do have like a bunch of warehouses. So the area itself isn't the best, but again, it's in East Williamsburg. So you do have local like dive bars, restaurants, all that good stuff pretty close by. These venues attract top tier talent. Like this is New York. You're going to get any and every artist you can imagine coming through here. And again, Avant Gardner has all different types of genres. I've seen bass shows, trance, techno, house. So it is really nice if you love all genres. You will definitely see somebody that you like at some point. I do want to discuss the layout because I think if you've never been here before, it can be a little bit confusing. So essentially, these venues are all in one technically, but they're separate buildings. So when you first get there, the biggest space is Avant Gardner. That is the indoor space. It's also known as the Great Hall. I've been to a ton of different shows here, but essentially that is their premier indoor space. Then what you'll do is you will walk outside. I'll get into this later, but there is an area for food. And then when you walk down the hallway a little bit, you have the Brooklyn Mirage, which is the open air outdoor venue, also massive. I'm going to talk about what that all looks like in just a second. You also have two smaller venues on the premise. So again, you kind of just have to walk around this venue a lot. There can be multiple shows happening at the same time. Sometimes you will have access to the different venues. Other times you will need tickets to the separate shows happening at the same time. So another venue I love in there is called King's Hall. It's a little bit on the smaller side. It's all the way at the end past the Brooklyn Mirage. And then lastly, you have the Lost Circus, which I believe is the smallest space, and it literally looks like an indoor circus. It's a circular room. It's got a disco ball at the top, and it looks like a circus tent. Really cool vibe in there as well. So that's basically all of the buildings that are in this space. So let's backtrack for a second. Let's talk about the Great Hall first. So again, I've done a ton of different shows here. I've seen Deadmau5, Oliver Heldens, Valentino Khan. I've seen Zomboy here, Dylan Francis, Don Diablo. Like again, you'll get a range of everything. It's a really cool space. You have, I believe, 3 separate bars, 2 on the sides, 1 in the back. You also have VIP areas in here, but it really is one big, massive room. They have different pillars going through the crowd. It can definitely get packed in there, but you do have a lot of space. Production is absolutely incredible. Depending on the artist, you can kind of like customize the stage, which is really cool. I've seen all different types of visuals. Deadmau5 brought his Cube tour there. So really, really incredible space. I've seen the most amount of shows in the Great Hall, I believe. Then what you'll see, I'll hopefully have a video here, but there are some really big bathrooms. You have a ton of different stalls for men and women right outside the space, and then right outside of the Great Hall. Again, depending on the time of year, usually they always have this sort of like little food hall or this food area. They have a couple different picnic tables, but there's another bar out there, and then they have a few different food vendors. So normally you can eat on site, which is really good. I've definitely gotten all different types of food there. So if you guys want to eat, that is an option. Then let's go to the Brooklyn Mirage, because this is probably my favorite venue. Again, you've probably seen videos or photos of it. It is as incredible as it looks online. It's absolutely massive. My favorite venue for sure. I have been living there the last 3 weeks. I think this is my third show in a row, or this is my fourth show in a row. But it's incredible. So what I love about this venue is it's kind of like multi-layered. So there are different ways you can view the stage. So the main space is on the floor. It's massive. You also do have like pillars throughout this space as well, because the pillars have projectors on them, and they also shoot fire as well, depending on the artist. And the projectors shoot projections on the entire walls of the Mirage. So it's a fully immersive experience, and it's completely customized to the artist that's there. So, for instance, last week I saw Nora and Pure, which was a like underwater theme. It was absolutely beautiful. She had these like gorgeous like different landscapes on the walls, and then it was all very blue. They had a bubble machine. The week before was Elro, which was the most insane show I've ever been to in my life. It was a psychedelic trip themed. They had crazy visuals on the walls, confetti cannons, a full stage structure built. Insane. So you never know what you're going to get. It really depends on the artist. But the other thing about this is you can go upstairs. So if you walk around the outside of the perimeter, you can go upstairs, and basically around the entire thing is a viewing platform, usually stage right. If you're looking at the stage, that is a VIP area. So you can only go in there if you have a VIP band, and it's really roomy. I've been doing that a lot lately. So it's a great option. And then the whole rest of the upstairs is general admission. There are bars up there as well, which is very convenient. So you don't have to go back downstairs. And then from there, I believe there's like a little terrace on the left side that you can go up. Honestly, if you guys are a fan of Game of Thrones, it gives me like Winterfell vibes because there's just all these different landings you can go up to. So it's incredible. You also have a beautiful view of the city behind you if you're up there. So like the sunset sets are gorgeous. So couldn't say enough good things. Inside, I believe there are 3 bars as well on both of the outsides and in the back. You also have the sound system, or like the lighting technician tent, which is kind of like right in the middle. So you can either go behind that or stand in front of that if you want a good view. You also have VIP options here as well. So on stage right, you have VIP tables on the bottom, and then they have a middle tier, and they have a middle tier on the left side as well, but those are only if you guys buy tables. And again, I've seen everybody from, like I mentioned, Nora and Pure. I saw Medusa, Side Piece, Lee Foss, Chris Lake back-to-back Fisher. I've seen Alesso here. The most incredible shows in the entire world. So I highly, highly recommend coming for a show at the Brooklyn Mirage. If you guys are coming for Electric Zoo, there's going to be a ton of after parties at both of these venues. So definitely recommend coming straight over right after the festival. So next up is King's Hall. This gives me more of a club vibe, kind of like warehouse underground atmosphere. It's a little on the smaller side, but really cool visuals in here. I've seen Io. He played the most amazing set. I just saw Desert Hearts at Elro in here. It also has a bar, but again, it's a little bit more darker. It's enclosed, so there's no windows or anything like that. You honestly lose track of time in there. Great lighting setup and visuals, so love it in there. It's definitely a smaller atmosphere, but highly recommend catching some shows here as well. What they've been doing recently, which is what's happening at Jaws' show today, they've been having artists on the Brooklyn Mirage, and then they've been having artists at King's Hall at the same time, so you can go back and forth. They did this at Elro as well, and it's really nice because you're not all packed into the Mirage. Like, you can split up your time. And lastly is the Lost Circus. Like I mentioned, I'll pop up pictures here. I just popped in here once. I don't even remember what show it was or who was playing, but it was such a cool vibe in there, and I definitely would love to come back in the future, but that is another space that is on the premise as well. Okay, so now I described what all of the venues are like. I want to get into the actual information. So we're going to talk about food, drinks, bathrooms, atmosphere, crowd, all of that good stuff. So I already covered food. You guys have that option available to you. Bars. So Avant Gardner has a ton of different bars in there. Brooklyn Mirage has bars. King's Hall has a bar. You have a bar in the food area. And then also, it's hard to describe, but when you're walking from Avant Gardner to the Brooklyn Mirage, there's sort of like this back hallway that you can walk down. There is a bar, a pretty big bar in that hallway as well, and it's basically directly behind the Mirage on your way to King's Hall. So hopefully the videos will make this all make sense. You've got plenty of places to get drinks. It's not an issue. Drinks are expensive. I'm going to put it out there. You can obviously get things that aren't on their like cocktail menu, but the cocktails themselves are like $15 to $17 a drink. You can get seltzers and beers and all that stuff, but it's not cheap. The other thing I do want to mention, so you do have payment attached to your wristband. So when you come in through security, which security is, I wouldn't say it's tight, but they definitely check your stuff. They do pat down, and then they have the wand, the metal detector wand as well. So just be wary of that. And usually for Avant Gardner and the Mirage, if you're doing GA, you will go through this separate building that's indoors, and that's where you do a check-in. There's a coat check-in there, and then they have the little stations where you can attach your credit card to your wristband. This is dangerous, and here's why. Okay, so obviously it's just like a tap and pay kind of system. So, if you get a little bit lit, you're going to forget how much you're spending. The other thing you have to pay attention to is tips. Now, I'm very big on tipping your bartenders 100%. The service is incredible there. However, they automatically apply, I think it's like a 20 to 25% tip on every single one of your drinks. So say you only want to tip like $2 to $3, which I think is fair in some situations. You have to click on other amount and then type in the amount you want. Otherwise, it will automatically apply, I believe, like 20 to 25% tip. So just mentioning that, because sometimes you can end up getting your credit card back, your statement back later, and realizing you tipped like $5 to $6 on every single drink. So you're spending like $20-something a drink. It's a lot. So be wary of that. Okay, so let's just chat about the overall experience, because I know that's what a lot of people wonder about. So again, the area that it's in is not the best directly surrounding the Brooklyn Mirage and Avant Gardner. Again, it's very like warehousey feeling. There's like a lot of trucks and empty buildings. I would not recommend walking here personally. Just as a female, I would be uncomfortable. If you're with a group, you could probably do it. There's a subway station nearby. I've normally always taken Ubers there in the past, and now more recently I've been driving because I'm really not drinking that much, and driving has honestly been a game changer, because when you go to leave this venue, getting an Uber is probably the biggest nightmare you'll ever experience in your life. Everyone leaves at the same time and tries to call an Uber. Your Ubers get stuck in traffic just sitting there if they can even reach you. Usually I recommend walking away from the venue to call an Uber, but just be forewarned that it's not the best option. Again, you can maybe walk to a subway station if you guys are in a group, or, have a DD and drive, and then parking is free in that surrounding area. So the crowd kind of changes depending on the show you go to. Honestly, from what I've seen this summer, you have a lot of young people, but again, I just turned 30, and some of the shows I've been at, you have people 30s, 40s, doesn't matter. Elro was a much older crowd, which was to be expected because that's like true hardcore house music fans, and they had some older artists as well. The Nora and Pure show, I would say, like we were in the VIP area for Nora, and there were people definitely in like their 30s, 40s at that show, but if I go on the main floor for things like Medusa, and then again at Nora, there were tons of people like in their 20s, early 20s, mid to late. So you do have a pretty big range. People dress, I would say, relatively more on the casual side. Again, depending on the show, some people do dress up. Occasionally you will see people that are a little bit more like wearing rave wear, but it's not as common. Elro, people were in full costumes, which was incredible to see. But for the most part, I normally wear black. I'll wear like a black crop top or a black bodysuit. Today I'm wearing my Jaws like rave shirt, shorts. I usually wear closed-toed shoes because if I'm in the crowd, my feet are going to get stepped on. So I highly recommend sneakers. But you can just wear something cute and casual. I wouldn't get super dressed up personally to come to this venue. Same thing in the winter. I'm normally always in jeans. I'm bringing my lunchbox snack pack because it's an anti-theft fanny pack. You do have to be careful here, guys, as with any situation. Watch your drinks and watch your stuff. It's a big city. You never know who's there. So do be careful with, your surroundings. Be aware. Other thing I want to highly mention here, just so you are forewarned, from what I've been seeing this summer, a lot of people are under the influence from the crowds I've been observing. So if you are uncomfortable with that, just a quick heads up, but people are partying. They're having a great time. People are drinking, doing whatever. I've seen all kinds of things happening in the crowd. So just so you know, that's kind of what the vibe is here. But overall, I could not recommend these venues anymore. Like if you have an artist you really want to see, the production is incredible. The atmosphere is amazing. People are there to have fun and enjoy and celebrate the music. Again, especially during the summer seasons, like the Brooklyn Mirage is absolutely insane. And I think some of these more special shows where they do multiple stage takeovers, highly recommend coming to those. Just be prepared, come with a little bit of a budget, wear what you feel comfortable in, but definitely don't have to dress up too much, and just have fun, enjoy yourself. Trying to think if there's anything else you guys should know, but I think that's pretty much it. Again, think about your transportation. There are coat checks in the winter if you do want to check a coat. Tons of bars, tons of food. Bathrooms are all indoors and they're all stalls. Oh, last thing I will mention, towards the Brooklyn Mirage, and I believe there might be some at Avant Gardner as well, there are water fountains. So there aren't water refill stations, but there are fountains. So there's free water technically. If you guys want to, you can just buy a water bottle and then fill it up in the water fountain. Highly recommend doing that. I think that's all I have for you guys on this video. If you have any other questions about these venues or just venues in general in New York City, definitely let me know. Again, these are my favorite right now. There's a couple other ones that I want to experience and check out. 74 Wythe is back. This is called the Superior Ingredients Rooftop. It used to be Output. There's also Elsewhere, which is extremely popular. That's a rooftop. So tons of incredible places to see music, especially dance music in New York and in Brooklyn. Please give this video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed it. And again, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button if you're new here. And you can connect with me online at Emma Kapotes on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys. Fall into